What's going on, people? Welcome back. Welcome back. I know it's been a minute since I did a podcast. I had a whole lot going on with me past probably year. Excuse me. And I haven't really had the time to sit down and, gather myself and make some content and all this and all that. And I really apologize for that. I really do thank a lot of the people who stayed with me, who still support me, who still support the podcast. I really, really appreciate that. Even the people that have been reaching out to me, asking me, hey, what's up? And I was like, man, I got new content coming sooner, real soon, but I just had to take care of some business and take care of some things in my personal life before I could really dive back into it. So now I'm diving back into it. I'm even using multiple platforms. As y'all know, I do have my content on Spotify as well as Amazon Music. I am looking to venture out into YouTube for right now. Not no video just yet, but audio. And I'll probably be putting a link out on my socials soon. Don't know yet, but I will. But anyway, I know it's a lot of hot topics going on around, like the Diddy case and the Meg Thee Stallion Tory Lanez case, and the guy that killed the police officer because the police officers killed his son. I know it's a lot of pressing and a lot of more important issues that should be talked about, but I'm going to bypass those right now. And I am going to talk about an issue, because I will touch on those later. Don't get me wrong. I will touch on those later. But for right now, I have an issue. I got beef. I got some serious beef. And this is something that I normally don't talk about, and I normally don't give my time with, especially on my podcast. I haven't really done giving time to like movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But I got beef. All right. So as you know, everybody knows the new Superman trailer dropped, and I think I've watched this trailer maybe 20 times, and I'm just going to talk about that. Let's talk about the new Superman movie, right? As everyone knows, James Gunn has taken over the DC animated universe. Well, not animated universe, but the DC universe, right? The DCU. And basically, he came in and he shit-canned everybody. He fired everybody. So everybody's going to start new, start fresh. Which, okay, get it. If you want to reboot the whole DCEU, then okay, bet. All right, you got to do what you got to do. But there's certain actors that play certain iconic roles that you just cannot replace. All right, like Iron Man, right? Robert Downey Jr. will always and forever be Iron Man. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Okay, all right. Hugh Jackman will always play Wolverine and always be Wolverine. All right, no matter who you put into those spots, they will always be their iconic roles. Even though they've played different roles in their career that could be deemed better, they weren't as iconic as those roles, right? So now in comes in, we're ushering in this new Superman. Okay, so the most iconic people to ever play Superman: Christopher Reeves, Henry Cavill. Let's go ahead. You can't even remember the other ones. You can't even remember the ones that played in the other Supermans. You can't even remember. You don't even know them. It's just like the Batman, right? The best Batmans that were played, Michael Keaton, and God dang it, was I always drawing like the guy that played in Dark Knight Rises. Oh, I always draw a blank when it comes to him. I get back to the middle, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all don't talk about those two, right? I personally like the Ben Affleck Batman, but I digress because a lot of y'all, I catch heat every time I say that. I actually like the Ben Affleck Batman. I really thought it was good. But the thing about it is if you don't know the comics, you're going to think he's garbage. Okay? The Ben Affleck Batman was based off Frank Miller's version of Batman. But if you've never read a Frank Miller version of Batman, then you're not going to understand. So I digress. We'll keep going. We'll go back to Superman, right? All right. So, like I said, the best two, in my opinion, the best two Superman, Christopher Reeves, Henry Cavill. Now we are ushering in a new Superman. This man is named David Corenswet. I've never heard of this guy. Never seen this guy. I had to Google him to find out who he is. Now, I'm all for, certain actors that haven't played in a lot of things, given that opportunity. Heath Ledger. Okay? Heath Ledger was best known for Brokeback Mountain. Even though he's played in other movies, but he's best known for Brokeback Mountain. When he got the job as the Joker, when he did the Joker, he did such an iconic part. He did such a fantastic part. I think he won an Oscar. He won an award after death. After he died, he won an award. That is still by far the best Joker that ever. Even Jack Nicholson was like, "Yo, I can't touch that." So I'm all for giving people opportunities to play certain roles to try to get, to try to see what they can do with them, right? So David Corenswet comes in. I'm watching the trailer, and I am not impressed. Now, you could call me a Snyder fan all you want to, but I've watched The Man of Steel. I've watched all the Superman movies. I've watched Henry Cavill play the role. He looks the part. That is the thing about it. He looks the part. And he plays the part. So they was always complaining that Henry Cavill doesn't have any personality. Well, it's Superman. It's a fictional universe. Okay? Superman was, he played the part. He played the role enough to have you believe it. Okay? Zack Snyder's version of Superman was a little dark. That was a part of it. Everybody knew that. Everybody knew that. It was going to be a little dark. It was going to be a little, for lack of a better word, it was going to be a little gray and a little mean. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be your friendly neighborhood Superman. We already knew this, but he wasn't like he was walking around killing people left and right. You didn't get that till Injustice, right? You didn't start getting that Superman till Injustice, but that's another timeline. So now we're ushering in this quote unquote more friendlier, more comic book friendly Superman, which, if you really want to be technical about it, James Gunn said he was basing it off All-Star Superman. Now, if you've never read All-Star Superman, which I guarantee you a lot of you have not, I can almost put money. A lot of you don't even know who All-Star Superman is. I digress. But that's what he's basing it on. Okay? I don't believe, to me, David Corenswet is not a believable Superman. And I'm just basing it off the previews that I'm seeing. He seems a hell of a lot more emotional, out of control. He's getting his ass whooped in a lot of these promos and a lot of these videos, these trailers. Okay? Superman don't take ass whoopers like that. Let's go ahead and just put it out there. Superman does not take ass unless it's kryptonite involved. Okay? Superman only has one weakness. And that's kryptonite. And you don't see any of that in the trailers. You don't see any notion of that in the trailers. And yet he is taking ass whooping after ass whooping. They got this man, and you know why? It's just iconic that it's certain scenes in the new movie, in the new trailer that are in the Man of Steel that he took from the Man of Steel that that are the same, like the iconic thing where he's handcuffed going into the building and shit like that. All right, first of all, that particular scene was put into motion because Superman allowed it. Okay, Superman allowed. He came. He allowed to be handcuffed because he wanted the people to trust him. You know, the other scene looked like he took an ass whooping from Ultraman, which in the movie I think that James Gunn has got a little Marvel in him. He's got because of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Which okay, all right, let me touch on that real quick. Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm gonna catch some heat on this, so I'm gonna be ready. The Guardians of the Galaxy series is probably the least watched series, and all three of those movies were directed by James Gunn. I think, to me, out of all the Marvel movies, and this is including Ant-Man, this is including Ant-Man. The Guardians of the Galaxy series only produced one decent movie, and I think that was the first one. I watched the other two, and I couldn't get with all the 80s nostalgia. I couldn't. It really was a distraction for me. And all I'm sorry. Dave Bautista should never play that role again. That's a horrible role. And you try to mix in so much comedy into that. And to me, it was just horrible. I didn't like 2 or 3. I dealt with 1 because it was a part of the DCU and getting to the point where you got to the Infinity War and Endgame. So I dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was cool. It was good, but the other 2 behind it were trash. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and say that. They were trash movies. And they were directed by James Gunn. So I don't expect, the only thing James Gunn has directed that I can honestly say was really good was Creature Commandos, and that was a cartoon. That was DC. That was that Marvel? No, that was DC. That was DC's animated series, which DC has excellent animated movies. If you've never watched the DC animated movies, you are losing out. But you got to think about it. Now, again, I'm not a Snyder fan. I'm not a Zack Snyder fan. But the movies weren't bad, but the animation was much better. If they brought over the same mindset from the animation over to their live action, DC will probably rival Marvel. Marvel's kicking their ass right now. So that's why they brought over James Gunn, because they thought James Gunn was going to magically just flip the script and everything will be okay. No. James Gunn is not the top A-list director that everybody's claiming to be. He's not a bad director, but he's not like a Spielberg or, something like that. He's not that. So let's kind of pump the brakes, because the selection of David Corenswet, and he selected another Batman, and that's the thing that pissed me off. And I gotta find out who it was. He selected a new Batman. And I don't think this cat this another cat that ain't played in nothing. David Corenswet, I had to Google him to find out what the hell he played in. And there is nothing watch-worthy that he has played in. Nothing. I'm not going to say he's not a bad actor. I'm not going to say he's a bad actor. What I'm saying is his body of work don't rival Calvin. It doesn't. It really doesn't. So I don't understand what the hype is. I think for me, the best thing that came out of that Superman trailer was Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific. Now, Mr. Terrific looks kind of weird. I got to find out who the hell is playing him. Mr. Terrific looks kind of weird, but it's odd that you're introducing a lot into this Superman movie. And I understand that's kind of what Marvel did, but Marvel had already set a precedence with Iron Man and so forth. They already set that up for you to combine all those characters in one movie. Instead of you just coming straight out the box and you got all of these characters that's jam-packed into a movie. I don't understand that. Because my thing is, you're not given enough time to introduce these characters into the arc and build them up into the arc. And now you shove them the Green Lantern and you shove Mr. Terrific in our face. A lot of people don't know who the fuck Mr. Terrific is. They don't. Here's the thing, especially if you don't watch the animated universe of DCU, you're not gonna know who Mr. Terrific is. Nobody picks up a Mr. Terrific comic. Let me be fair. Let me be clear on that. Unless you really watched like the animated Justice League or the animated DCE universe, you're not gonna know who Mr. Terrific is. You really not. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's Mr. Terrific." You don't even know what the hell he do. So, and then you're bringing in what looks like Hawkman. I couldn't tell. It was the damn trailer went by so fast. I couldn't tell whether that was Hawkman or Hawkgirl. I'm gonna assume that it's Hawkman. I'm gonna assume that it's Hawkman. And then you have Hawkman, and what I think I seen was Ultraman, and then the Green Lantern, which was like the first Green Lantern before Hal Jordan, I think. Because that's not Hal Jordan's Green Lantern. I think that's the guy before Hal Jordan. And Mr. Terrific and the Lex Luthor. I don't know. I don't understand why DC cannot get that right. I really don't understand why they cannot pick a legitimate. The last legitimate Lex Luthor who I really liked, and y'all gonna laugh y'all ass off. Gene Hackman. I think Gene Hackman played a good Lex. But that's just me. But they can't. DC cannot get that role right. Like Jesse Eisenberg. Like, why the hell do you? And then I'm talking about Man of Steel, and I'm talking about not even so much Man of Steel. I'm talking about like the Justice League, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. Even then, like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor is such a bad hire, bad casting, and he was not believable at all. Nothing about Jesse Eisenberg is intimidating. Just like this new cat they got, and I'm looking at him like, you're not even physically opposing. Lex Luthor was at least physically opposing, very smart and very charismatic, and I got none of that from that trailer. So I'm really hoping I'm wrong. I really am. I'm really hoping I'm wrong. Yeah, and they've actually fixed their decision making when it comes to the villains. Marvel gets it right. Marvel gets it right. Josh Brolin as Thanos was fantastic. That was top tier. That was top tier casting right there. I am sorry. Josh Brolin as Thanos brought that character to life. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was not believable at all. I am sorry. But anyway, I digress. So, not only that, like, another issue I got, you bringing in Crypto the dog. I really don't understand the point of bringing in Crypto the dog. Can somebody please, like, tell me what the point is in bringing in Crypto the dog? Please, Crypto the dog is just like a really side character that should have never been brought in. Really. And then he's, I don't know. I'm gonna say judgment on Crypto the dog. I don't know why James Gunn thought that was some kind of significant character to bring into the movie. Nobody thinks about Crypto the fucking dog. But why is he there? I don't know. He seems like a very, just based off the clips and based off the trailers, he seems like a very, very emotional Superman. Seems like he is in his feelings a lot. And I'm guessing that's the constant battle that we're having online now and having social media is, well, people are saying, well, Zack Snyder's Batman or Superman was too dark. It was too, it wasn't friendly enough. It wasn't nice enough. Blah, 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 blah. Versus the new Superman where he's supposed to be for the people and he's supposed to be, more humanity. That's what he said. I think James Gunn said something about the new Superman being more for humanity or something like that. Like as if like the last Superman, like the last 5 Supermans wasn't. Like he said that shit like this is some new shit. That was always been part of Superman's personality. That's been his MO. He's always been about humanity. That's never changed. Okay, so now all of a sudden, none of the Supermans before him were about humanity, but this one's supposed to be. He don't even look the part. David Cornsey don't even look the part, and I'm real big on looking the part. If you want to play a part, I think you should. This is just like what they're talking about, bringing in Denzel Washington to play Magneto. No, don't do that. Don't do that. There's nothing. I mean, I'm sorry. Don't do that. I love Denzel Washington, but that's a character you don't mess with. Michael Fassbender, I don't understand why the fuck would you go against Michael Fassbender. He was a great Magneto. He was a great Magneto, unless you want to go. I mean, obviously, if you go in to try to look at Denzel Washington to play Magneto, you're looking for an older Magneto. And I don't understand. The Magnetos before were, I think the guy's name was Ian. I can't think of his last name. The ones that played in Last Stand and the ones that played with Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Those earlier X-Men films. I think the name was Ian. I can't think of his name. But he was a good Magneto. But Denzel Washington, no, that's not a role for him. That's not a role for him. I don't believe that you need to force the issue that Magneto has to be black. No, I don't. I stay the course. That'd be another casting problem that DC. That'll let me know DC ain't fixed their casting problem. All right, so I don't understand that. Again, they're supposed to be bringing back Patrick Stewart for Professor X, which I think he should be able to. That should be his last movie. He should be able to close his career out with, and then you reboot it. But excuse me, I'm sorry. So, in retrospect, I'm just gonna wrap this up. I think this Superman movie is going to be straight ass cheeks, but I really hope I am wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I really think this movie is going to fall below par. And we're going to have a conversation as fans about the direction the DC Universe is going in. Because I think the DC Universe has more to offer than Marvel. You have way more storylines, way more interesting things that you can do with the DC Universe. Just look at the animated. Just look at the animated universe. Just take what you got in the animated universe and transfer it over to the real time, to the live action. That's all you got to do. It's very simple. You don't reinvent the wheel. It's real simple. You already have the platform. You already have the foundation laid out in front of you. Just take that and transfer it over, and you will have the best DC universe that you possibly can get. Just fix your casting problem. Fix your casting problem. Now, once you do that, you're good. Once you do that, you're good. But I am off my soapbox and off my rant. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I appreciate you guys staying with me. I will be dropping more content, and I will be dropping it at a more consistent basis. So just stick with me. If there's anything that you would like me to touch on, anything that you would like to talk about, anything I need to have that you would like my opinion on, just hit me up on my socials. It should be on Instagram, The Savage Life 2024. I think that's what it is on Instagram. And on Facebook, The Savage Life. Vandal, you see Vandal Savage on there. But anyway, remember, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Everybody have a blessed day, and I'll catch up with y'all later. Peace.